as you mentioned, after the game, 4 draws in the first 5 road games, especially recently, the mentality just seems to be way different. What have you noticed that's been kind of the key to being tougher on the road this year?
Yeah, I think credit should all go to the players. You know, they're the ones inside the lines, and they're the ones that, you know, have to execute and perform and have a strong mentality. And I think we have a great group of guys that, home or away, you know, when we take the field, we fight, we work, we have hunger. And I think on the road specifically, we've just been very, I think, pragmatic defensively and really analyzed the opponent like we always do, but you know, a little bit more how to take them away versus how we're going to execute in the attack. And I think we've done a good job. You know, my staff are, again, a big part of that. Pablo Moreira, Blair Gavin, Eric Quill, Tim Hanley in the prep. Just making sure that we take away the key things that the opponent is looking to do. Unfortunately versus New England, you know, the 2 ways we knew they would score, they scored. And, you know, when you're playing a team that has quality like a Books and a Hill, they need one moment. They had 1.07 expected goals. They really had 2 chances, other than the shots from distance, which you can't do much about. If those go in and you're tipping your hat, those are very low percentage. Other than the 2 goals they scored, they didn't have much. We bottled up Gil really well. I think he had 0 key passes in zone 14 in the half spaces the entire game. And we had the 3 biggest chances of the game in expected goals, which is why we were like a 1.77. So I thought overall we defended really well, and we found, you know, some big chances. That's been a good blueprint for us. Just disappointed to give up the 2 goals, but I would also argue again that the goal Busa scores is, you got to tip your hat to him, and that's, we saw it on film, we worked on it, and he just executed really well in there. And he's a tough guy in the box to manage. Obviously they made some good adjustments as well, and then we made some good adjustments also. You know, we went into a 4-2-3-1 to get the goal back, and then went into a 5-4-1 to kill it. But they were basically throwing the kitchen sink at us when they were down 1-0. Basically played a 3-3-4, loaded our back line, and, you know, found a couple goals. And then we countered it, you know, to get the goal back. So they threw the kitchen sink at us, and then we threw it back at them.
2 games in a row now, you've gotten the first goal. What do you think that just does for the confidence of the group? That has been something they've been very vocal about wanting to do. Yeah,
I think it's, you know, listen, I'm always hesitant to give too many positives in here, you know, which is weird, but, you know, I'm a coach and I try to be objective, and there are negatives, right? But last 2 games we scored 5 goals. You know, prior to that we weren't scoring any. So for us to be able to score 5 goals the last 2 games, to score the first goal, like you said, and to get 3 results in a row, we knew this would be a very difficult stretch. I mean, when we were staring that stretch of, you know, KC on the road, back at home, DC, and then we knew this stretch here coming up was going to be brutal. 3 or 4 on the road against arguably the 3 best teams in the league, back to back to back. You know, with New England, New York City, and then obviously LAFC. I mean, you've got 3 of the best teams in the league, and so I think we needed to keep taking it one at a time, keep analyzing the opponent, you know, keep looking at our group and what our strengths are and how we can fit it together, be very organized defensively, and each game is a one-off, you know, and how are we going to go on the road, New York City, MLS Cup champions last year, and how are we going to get a result, you know, and the group's really bought into that right now, and they know sometimes it's going to be a different guy in, you know, like, and it could change like that, you know, with Marlon going out, and now Derek's in it right back, and you saw how bought in the guys were. You know, they weren't rattled. I told them right after the warm-up, this is what we're doing, and they just went out. Derek didn't blink an eye and played right back the entire game. Yeah. So that's the type of team that we have.
we haven't seen a ton of Eric, but obviously makes the big impact. We've seen him a little bit with Crew 2. We saw him a little bit last year. You guys decided to bring him back. What has been, in your eyes, working with him, been kind of his trajectory since you guys acquired him to kind of now when he finally gets that goal for you guys, and an important one?
Yeah, massive goal. Again, that's why we have solutions, not subs, off the bench always to put it in the game. And obviously when we went second half with Lucas to the 9, took Miggy off, we always had an idea if we gave up the goal to go 4-2-3-1, bring Eric on. So we were ready for it. As soon as it happened, we didn't wait to, and feel sorry for ourselves. We immediately went into, okay, how are we going to get the goal back? And Eric's been working really hard in training, and he's taken a lot of time extra as well, working on finishing. And, I think trajectory, back to your question, I think he came in, he was coming off an injury in Montreal. He wasn't playing a ton. It took a while for him to get fit, and then he got an opportunity. When I believe Giassi was out with the national team at Atlanta, had a great chance to score. I think back, if he scores that goal, maybe the trajectory is different. He doesn't score, obviously then, we go with one striker the next game. Bradley's in, and then G comes back, so he's kind of down on the depth chart. He didn't get much time after that, and then without playing, you lose confidence a little bit. And I think this year, bringing him back, we thought we might be in this position. We knew we were one number 9 injury away from him being in the number 2. Yeah. And so obviously with Giassi gone now, he's kind of the 2. Could argue Lucas, but I think we all know Lucas isn't a 9. Can he be certain games if we shape it up the right way? Maybe, but I think we know where Lucas is best. Yeah. So I think Eric's gonna be a key guy here down the stretch, and it was great for him to get confidence first in the Crew 2 game and score a goal. That's why we have that team. And then now he steps in, and that helps a lot. So, that's why we added Crew 2. When guys go down, they get confident, and guys that aren't playing get games, and then they're ready. And it's not the first time they've been in. They've actually gone in, and he's scored a goal, in Crew 2.
The versatility that you have with certain guys. I mean, obviously Pedro taking over at left back, but James shifting out wide, Derek stepping in at a moment's notice. How important is that to have, not just for one game when something like that happens, but over the course of a season to be able to move guys around and try different things that you've been able to do?
Yeah, I love it. Contrary to what people might think, I love to tinker. Actually, I've played a lot of different systems over the years. We played a lot of different systems last year.
Yeah.
We played 4-4-2 several times. We played 4-3-3 last year, several games. We played 3-4-3, in the Campeones Cup. So did the same at Portland, and I just remind people at Akron, we played a 4-4-2 diamond and we won the national championship. So I really have always loved just kind of the numbers game and the shapes and systems and how the starting and ending points are put together. And one of my favorite things about the job is game planning. I spend most of my time up in my office buried in film and thinking about game plan. Mm-hmm. Who's going to start? How are we going to defend? How are we going to attack specific to the opponent? And in knockout games, we've been pretty good. When you look at the knockout games, so we're kind of approaching these like knockout games and finding ways to win. So I love having flexibility, and sometimes I don't like that I'm leaving guys out. Like Milos gets left out last game. He's a good player. Aiden early in the year because obviously 4-2-3-1. He's not going to be in over Darlington or Artie in the 4-2-3-1. So unless we rotate, but there'll be a time this year where we're able to play everybody in a 3 stretch and 8. But leaving guys out I don't like. And with everybody healthy this game, there's some guys going to be left out. But I think they buy into the fact that it's what's best for the team, and They're not selfish, even though everybody wants to play. And those are the type of guys that you end up wanting to put in eventually because they don't pout about it and they work hard in training. They understand the decisions. My decisions aren't always right either, you know, but they understand that I'm trying to do what's best for the team, you know, which isn't just for one guy, it's for the whole team and the club. And but I hate leaving guys out, but I love flexibility.
And you kind of led into that, what I was going to ask, with how well you guys have played in the 4-3-3 in terms of results. Is it, when Lucas is ready to go 90 minutes, obviously you need him out there, but does it make it more difficult to shift right back to a 4-3-2-1 given what's gone the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think again we just got to look at the opponent. You know, I think that's really important. You know, a lot of coaches make that mistake. You know, and I've made that over the years in some games. It's just going, okay, what's my best 11? You know, okay, that's it. But you really have to look at the opponent and do what you think is your best 11 for this game. So I think we have options this game because Lucas will be fit to start. Steven will be fit to start. We've had good performances out of James Igbekeme in various roles. Really good performances, you know, out of Aiden Morris. Miguel Berry gets a goal, you know. Derek has been in great form. You know, he scored 2 games ago and then he got 2 assists. So those are all good problems, guys. So, you know, I might be leaving a guy out that's playing really well, but I'm not putting a guy in that's playing like crap. So last year there were times where I'm putting guys in where you're going, we're not playing well, but this guy's got to start again. You know, I'm having to maybe take a guy out because unfortunately, you know, I have to pick 11 guys, not 12. I'd love to play 13 guys this game, but I'm gonna do what I think is best for this game, and then I might actually do something completely different the next game back at home at LAFC. Okay, so just trust, you know, I'm gonna always do what I think is best for that game and winning it, and you know, I have no favorites at all, but I do have to understand the opponent, you know, and the depth of that, and I have to understand the form of where guys are at, and there's so many layers too. Like this game, it's a narrow pitch, the smallest pitch of any in the league. You know, they have an outfield with sod on it, so it's bumpy. You know, New York City is an extremely aggressive, pressing, countering team. They can play through your pressure better than any team I've seen. I said it last year when they won MLS Cup, they're the best team in the league. LAFC maybe has a case. Seattle, you know, when they're really in form, obviously you saw winning the Champions League. Don't sleep on New England. I think we just drew on their best day, one of the best teams in the league. But I still believe that New York City and probably LAFC are the best teams in the league. And New York City on their day, they can run you over. And they've shown this year, you know, winning games 3, 4, 5 by 3, 4, 5 goals. So, you know, they know how to play on that pitch. It's really tight. You need technical guys on the field. It will be a bit direct at times. You know, we're not under any illusion where we're gonna play champagne football and keep the ball, and you know, it's a weird game that you have to factor in all those layers in picking your 11, picking how you're going to defend, picking how you're going to attack, and also picking how you're going to sub. You know, because that's the other thing. I don't think I'm just saying, I don't think we probably preserved the win last game unless we go into the back 5. Yeah. Because on that last set piece, we would have been in real trouble. You know, so, and there were a couple balls in the box that you just never know, right? And so sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right, but you still lose. You know, it's just one of those things. But it's sure fun approaching each week, knowing you have a week, knowing you have a lot of really good players and a great group of guys that want to win.
Thanks, Caleb.